A spoonful of tariffs makes the stock market go down. The stock market go down. The stock market go down. A spoonful of tariffs makes the stock market go down in the most delightful way.
I'm Lil Demmie, and Uncle Sam will not be joining me today. We're doing a Tariff comedian montage where the jokes are picked by Tariff expert Ron Vara. Ron, did I see you on TV or something?
Trump gave Jared a summary of his views and then asked him to do some research. Kushner simply went on Amazon, where he was struck by the title of one book, Death by China, co-authored by a man named Peter Navarro. Jared then cold called Navarro, a well-known trade deficit hawk who agreed to join the team as an economic advisor. In all of his books, Peter Navarro has cited an economics expert to justify his views. And the economics expert he cites is somebody named Ron Vara. The problem is Ron Vara doesn't exist. He never has. Peter Navarro invented Ron Vara as his expert source so he could quote this expert source over and over and over again in his crackpot books. Ron Vara is an anagram of Navarro, which is his last name.
Sometimes I'm on TV, accidentally confessing to Ari Melber. But right now, I'm picking the best of TV comedians joking about tariffs.
Hello, you there, boy!
Me, sir?
What day is today?
Today? Why, it's Liberation Day, of course.
Liberation Day. I haven't missed it.
Hooray!
A big day for the country, President Trump calling it Liberation Day.
Right, Liberation Day. That sounds like the fake holiday your friends make up after you get dumped.
You know the prized goose hanging in the poultry shop?
The one as big as me?
Yes, wonderful boy. Go and buy it.
That goose costs $800.
What?
Because of the tariffs. It's a Canadian goose, sir.
Oh well, back to rat meat.
I will rid this place of all its money.
Remind you of anyone? Wow, I also got rid of money last week, but instead of one temple, I did whole country.
Liberation Day, I'm reminded of the immortal words of Patrick Henry, give me liberty or charge me an extra $10,000 for a Hyundai Elantra.
President Trump announced a tariff on all goods imported into the U.S., saying that the U.S. has been plundered and raped by other countries, and Trump will not stand for plundering.
The most severe set of U.S. trade tariffs since 1930. Ah, yes, the 1930 Smoot-Hawley tariffs. Just one of the reasons we remember Herbert Hoover as our greatest president. That's why they named all those vacuums after him, because he didn't suck.
They're the backbone of my incredible plan for our economy. It's actually even better than a plan because it's a series of random numbers.
Just about the only thing anybody actually does know about Liberation Day is that cars are going to be a lot more expensive. Because last Wednesday, Trump announced a 25% tariff on imported autos and parts. It's not enough. He's destroyed so many of our cherished institutions. Now he's coming for Toyotathon.
Well, America elected Donald Trump to run the country like a business, but it turns out he's running it like one of his businesses.
The point is, everything is going to be fine and or bad.
The economy would almost immediately tumble into a recession that would last for more than a year. So, if you have a retirement account, no, you don't.
When you have the power to instantly change world events and people's lives, you should be terrified of that, not enthralled by it. But President Butterfly Effect over here loves it. Just flapping his arms in the Oval Office and watching the whole world shake. And of course, that's just an analogy. He can't flap his arms. The closest he can come is to that move where he's trying to tell the deli guy how big he wants his sandwich. I want it this big because last time it was this big, and that's not so big.
Hitting their armor is like Jell-O, and now it's like steel. All these guys.
Steel? Well, put a tariff on it then.
Howard, this is Cheesecake Factory menu, Howard. This is for the lunch and after, okay? I'm getting bang bang tacos.
Trump actually used a chart to announce the specific tariffs. Can we see a photo? This is real. Yeah, look at. It's like he stole the arrivals board from LaGuardia.
Look at it, it's beautiful. We spent so much time and, frankly, millions of dollars on this piece of cardboard.
No, we can't read that. I think 8-point font, I think that'll be good.
They call it a formula. It's very complicated, but let me explain how it works. Give me that. All right, so that's a triangle. I don't know what that is, but up here, that's she from China. And that's me stabbing him with a sword. Then down here, that's some sideways boobs. And anyway, you get it.
Reciprocal. That means they do it to us and we do it to them.
That's a totally new thing for me. I don't usually do the reciprocal. Usually, I demand to get Tariff first, and then I just roll over and fall asleep.
Very simple.
It is simply not true. They actually represent the trade deficit between the U.S. and those countries, meaning we buy more stuff from them than they buy from us. That means we're basically punishing other countries for selling us stuff that we want. This is like me going to Jon Varvatos and beating the shit out of him because I like his socks. Why don't you ever buy my socks, Jon Varvatos?
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said that the tariffs will be a major blow to the world economy. Okay, that's a little far. Donald Trump would never deliver a major blow.
Yesterday, Donald Trump announced sweeping tariffs across the entire globe. Asia, South America, Narnia, Arendelle, Wakanda, Bachelor Nation.
One country missing from the list, Russia. Oh. Don't worry, it doesn't mean they were forgotten. Instead of tariff, Trump's going to hit them with an absolutely devastating Harry and David fruit basket.
President Trump even imposed tariffs on remote islands that are only inhabited by penguins. Well, then maybe penguins shouldn't keep pushing their gay agenda.
At first, I too thought that Trump putting tariffs on this uninhabited island was a sign that he had suffered brain damage. But after spending a week here in -11 degrees and drinking lots of seawater, I totally see where he's coming from.
I even put tariffs on an island that is uninhabited by humans. It's called Heard and McDonald Island. Ooh, McDonald Island. I'd love to visit there, right? McDonald Island.
The penguins are taking total advantage of America. We buy all their skins to make tuxedos, but have they ever bought any fish from us?
Can you imagine that? A Big Mac and a hula skirt. Ooh la la. You know, I had to mock up some artwork of McDonald Island. Howard, do you mind bringing that out, please? There we go. I want to go to there, Tina. Get me to God's country, right?
Okay, why would they buy fish from us? They're on an island surrounded by fish.
Yeah, but our fish comes in stick form.
Canada's new prime minister said that in response to the tariffs, the old relationship we had with the United States is now over. Oh no. Oh no, we have to win Canada back.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me. The U.S. Senate passed a bill to make daylight saving time permanent. In other words, they would see to it that we never have to change our clocks again. They're doing this to satisfy Blobby Jones to give Trump 1 more hour of daylight on the links, which is fine. Whatever. I hope they get it done. I feel like this might be my life's work, accomplishing this. And with the way things are going in the stock market, daylight might be the only savings we have left.
I don't know about you, but I am feeling good about America. April Fools.
Our economy is in the midst of a beautiful metamorphosis, turning from a simple caterpillar into a dead caterpillar.
An historic transfer of wealth from the middle class to my buddies. Oh, well.
Trump's tariffs went all the way from 54% to 10%, and today so did his approval rating.
This is an economic Armageddon.
Where's a Hawaiian shirt to an economic Armageddon?
Many people are even calling me the Messiah because of the Messiah made out of the economy.
You the Financial Channel's Rodney Dangerfield or something? I told my wife about the stock plunge. She said, "Oh, I thought you guys would never go down there."
Today's smoldering economic crater incinerated everything from crude oil to big tech stocks. The only company doing well, the proud folks at downarrow.com.
I would say we are probably in a recession right now.
With 69% of CEOs expecting a recession and 82% expecting resurgent inflation.
This is a snapshot of the Dow since President Trump's inauguration.
I'm not an economist, but it's probably a bad sign when the chart itself looks like it jumped off the roof. Look at that drop. Six Flags is going to make a roller coaster of that. Mom, I want to ride the Dow Jones. We can't afford it.
Money is leaving the stock market faster than Morgan Wallen at Goodnight.
My 401k is now a 301k.
So let's make some fat stacks of that stinking cash. But first, I know what you're thinking, all right? And just to clarify, I didn't jump off a building because of the market crash, all right? This happened because I couldn't pay my Coke dealer after the market crash.
Yeah, that wall, that's what I call the have you even said thank you yet wall.
If Harris wins this election, the result will be a Kamala economic crash, a 1929-style depression.
And anything she can do, I can do better.
But before that, we're going to do Magda. Magda. Make America Great Depression again.
The Great Depression is also what Trump calls his spot on the couch.
You know, this depression is going to be so great. We'll be the ones eating the cats and the dogs.
Remember The Big Short, where they had to have Margot Robbie explain it in a bathtub? Here's how that would go today.
Trump did it.
Worst day for our economy since COVID. Just a little reminder, this time, he's the disease.
Remember when he told us to inject bleach to get rid of COVID? Turns out those were the good ideas.
This time, since there's no pandemic, we can safely scream straight into each other's faces.
Meanwhile, Trump just announced that his annual physical exam will be this Friday. Being Trump's doctor is a tough gig. Trump's already threatened the doctor with a 50% tariff if he reveals his actual weight.
Has anyone thought about injecting our money with bleach?
The operation is over. The patient lived and is healing. The prognosis is that the patient will be far stronger, bigger, better, and more resilient than ever before.
The patient is going to be bigger? Was the surgery a penis enhancement?
Donald Trump doesn't have a mindset. He reacts to news the way a Roomba reacts to walls.
And what's the president doing? He's jetting off to Florida to watch golf. Wait a second. Hold on. Maybe that's the whole problem. Mr. President, you know the stock market's not like golf, right? You're not trying to get the lowest score possible.
Banks are increasingly worried about an economic recession.
Hey, this is Seth Meyers. I need to speak to my broker right now. Just get him! Oh, come on. Oh, hey, Gary, thank God. Tell me right now, did Donald Trump win his golf tournament? Oh, he did! Hooray!
Any questions?
How was the golf tournament?
Very good, because I won.
What's your handicap these days?
Oh, I know. His brain is broke.
GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen, himself a vocal Trump fan, tweeted, "These tariffs are turning me into a Dem, along with the rainbow emoji." He may be the CEO of GameStop, but he doesn't like it when the game stops.
JP Morgan sent a memo to investors last week titled, "There Will Be Blood." I forget. Was that movie a rom-com? I can't remember. Do not worry. JP Morgan always talks in 2007 film references. The memo continued, "When it comes to retirement savings, this is no country for old men. All our money is gone, baby, gone. And to be blunt, this is super bad. In conclusion, Shrek 3.
Is it because Elon's from South Africa? Sadly, we had to put tariffs on Elon. He can no longer afford his big old chainsaw. From now on, he's going to be waving a balloon sword from medieval times."
Elon Musk publicly disagreed with Trump and criticized his ongoing trade war. To be fair, if anyone's an expert on stuff crashing, it's the CEO of Tesla.
Elon Musk personally appealed to President Trump to stop his tariff plan, and it worked. The stock market went up like this.
All this turmoil has really upset the Wall Street bros, even the ones that back Trump. They're describing his tariffs as worse than expected, and reportedly for many CEOs, this came as a surprise. A surprise? He's only been talking about tariffs since the 1980s. In the campaign, he said tariff is the most beautiful word in the English language.
The word tariff, properly used, is a beautiful word. One of the most beautiful words I've ever heard.
Tariff is a beautiful word. It's tariff, it's 2/3 of terrific, which is what the husband used to say to the wife about the meatloaf she made. "That was terrific, darling," he'd say, or as the kids say, "That was tariff."
This is like electing Snoop Dogg and then saying, "I didn't know he was going to smoke weed every day."
It's simple economics, okay? If the stock market goes down and down and down and down and down, that means there's nowhere to go but up, or perhaps further down.
And sipping on gin and juice? In this economy?
So don't be a panicking.
A new party based on weak and stupid people.
I'm not an expert when it comes to the economy, but I am an expert when it comes to nicknames. And panicking is not going to catch on.
When you don't have an education department, you have to start making up your own words.
So I'd argue the weak and stupid demo is, if anything, way overrepresented in government right now.
Did the overseas factory you had been sourcing your nicknames from get shut down during the tariff war?
So far, Panicking Skywalker has wiped out $11 trillion since Inauguration Day. Gone, just into thin air, but at least we won't have tampons in the boys' bathroom.
Posting on Truth Social, only the weak will fail.
Your economic policy has the same tagline as season 3 of Squid Game?
It was a fundraising dinner for his super PAC, for which he charged $1 million a plate. Who is paying $1 million for more of this? If you want to throw away $1 million, just put it in the stock market.
He even sang along, kind of.
God bless the US. But now it's our turn to do the ripping.
Right, and then he ripped right through his tuxedo pants.
It's not the trade deficit. This is all to make up for Donald Trump's enormous deficit of attention and love.
Our country. And don't let some of these politicians go around saying, because I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, sir.
He's just a boy, standing in front of the world, asking to have his ass kissed.
That sounds less to me like a phone call from a fellow world leader and more like the genre of porno he likes to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure some have been pretty nice to him, the same way that you try to be nice if you suddenly found yourself in the same room as a monkey with a gun. Hi, monkey. Good monkey. Strong monkey. Please, I'll do anything.
Today is National Burrito Day. To celebrate, Chipotle gave away free burritos. Ooh. Yeah, that's the good news. The bad news is, thanks to Trump's new tariffs, guac was $58 extra.
Well, these new tariffs are going to raise prices on all imported goods, but you can work around them if you're smart. For example, I occasionally like Perrier water, which is from France. So instead, I drink this American version, Uncle Bubble.
You gotta cut back on all these expensive meals.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, I love to eat out.
That's not what they say on the interns group chat.
Even domestic products will experience some increases. For example, I used to eat Cap'n Crunch cereal before the price went up. So today, I buy this, Sergeant Munch. Lower rank, lower price, flavor bad.
So wait, you're saying I should cut back on going to restaurants?
Well, you gotta cut back on food entirely, Colin. Are you a website? Because it looks like you've been accepting all cookies.
Obviously, no one is happy about what this is going to do to our ability to buy stuff, except for one group, husbands forced to sit on the little chair in the dressing room at Nordstrom Rack. You know their slogan. Yeah, I like that one too.
Trump just signed an executive order to stop price gouging on concert tickets. Yeah. Yep, he said, nobody pays higher prices on my watch. Unless it's for a car, TV, medicine, or eggs.
According to one expert, these tariffs could add $10,000 to $20,000 to vehicle prices, which means the most popular car model will soon be public bus. You know their motto, public bus, how come the seat's so warm?
Where there is panic, there are panic-tunities. If people are snapping up rice, then call me the Rice Patty Daddy, because you're looking at a guy who just converted his entire bathroom into a rice patty. Yep. Look, and if anyone has a contact at Whole Foods, Sensei Costa's toilet rice is still looking for a distributor.
Tariffs are going to increase prices on everything, especially products that are not plentiful here, like coffee. Well, I guess we'll just switch to America's favorite coffee substitute, meth.
Check to Check News is brought to you by America's most popular toilet paper, Chipotle napkins. Chipotle napkins, because Sherman prices be tripping.
With one finance expert saying things like Barbie dolls could cost more. Well, who needs them? Get ready for Mattel's new product made 100% in America, ear of corn.
Today, the price of a Mega Millions ticket went from $2 to $5. America's like, damn, even losing money got more expensive.
Other items that will be affected include yachts and diamonds. Do you know what that means, yachts and diamonds? The ultra-wealthy might have to pay a tax. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We'll find you a loophole.
Trump has acknowledged that there will be some minor inflationary aspect of that.
Everybody knows. And when they voted in November of 2024, they knew that's what they were voting for.
Trump was very honest during the campaign that tariffs would drive prices higher, right? Right?
10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher.
Higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices.
Technically, he said prices wouldn't go up, but in his defense, he was lying.
Also, Brett Baer asked you when Americans will start to feel prices coming down. What happened to day one? Are you going to have to update that number?
I will immediately bring prices down starting on day 36 trillion.
As tariffs drive up prices, how will you pay for more expensive goods? 10% said work harder, spend smarter, and cut back on things they don't need. 90% said foot stuff on OnlyFans.
Folks, you hear that, Louis?
Yeah.
You hear that? That is the sound of people who have been liberated.
Hey Siri, how much green gravy did I just make off this iPhone tariff crisis?
This phone has been reported stolen. Calling police.
Because thanks to Donald Trump, America is finally free from the tyranny of being able to buy stuff from other countries. Who's ready to learn how to make their own iPad from scratch?
Oh, yeah. Oops, clumsy me, right in a cup of coffee. Looks like I'm gonna have to dry that out in what? A bowl of Sensei Costa's toilet rice. Yeah, baby.
Nintendo has delayed Switch 2 pre-orders in the United States over the Trump tariffs.
They didn't know how it'd be affected.
Do they charge 50% more? Do they charge double? Do they even ship them?
How much of this is made in the U.S.? None of it.
None of it.
I want that guy on hand to respond to all other situations. How much birthday cake is left in the break room? None of it.
What am I supposed to do without our new Mario game? Take a bunch of mushrooms and jump on turtles in real life? That's what got me banned from the petting zoo.
How much of the Severance goat plot did you actually understand? None of it.
Yeah, Trump wants American-made iPhones. They're going to be a little different, though. Watch this.
Apple is proud to offer its first ever American-made iPhone. It's the same iPhone you love, but instead of Siri, we're introducing Donnie. You can ask him questions like, "Hey Donnie, what is the weather today?"
Climate change is a hoax invented by China.
"Donnie, where's the nearest gas station?"
Your car wouldn't need gas if you drove a Tesla.
"Donnie, remind me to pick up my kids from school."
There's no more education department. Your kids are busy making iPhones.
The American iPhone.
Coming soon for $6,000.
Trump excitedly bragged he'd got China to commit to purchase an additional $200 billion in US products. But later analysis showed it effectively bought none of those goods. None of them.
China, if you want a trade war is what you'll get. The gloves are off because you make the gloves and we can't afford them anymore.
I'm sure Trump definitely learned his lesson, and this time he's going to get an empty promise for $500 billion. Fool him once, shame on him. Fool him twice, that's basically what everyone does.
104% tariffs? Okay, this is getting really serious. We'll know exactly how serious once we ask China to do the math for us.
Everything is made in China. You know those stickers that say made in the USA? Those are made in China.
Yeah, well, now that everyone in America is losing all their money and rights, it's kind of like we're both communist twins.
I mean, for instance, this Trump brand reusable water bottle made in China. This Trump shot glass made in China.
Both of our countries are going to face a lot of hardship. But wait, I'm just wondering, which side is more willing to endure hardship for the glory of their nation? The one that's been around for thousands of years, or the one that's sending Katy Perry to space?
This Trump windbreaker made in China. This Trump American flag hat made in China. This Trump flask, this Trump pink thing, all made in China.
We must never mix religion with commerce. You can read all about that in my Trump Bible. Now made in America, so it costs $1,300 and it falls apart even faster.
We have a monkey flying the plane right now. And almost half the passengers are like, I think the monkey's doing a good job.
We all remember Donald Trump's campaign. He pledged to destroy your 401ks on day one.
Promises made, promises kept.
I was not here when Congress gave away its power. I would not have voted to give away our power, but we did it. If we get on the Grassley bill, we'll just spend a year fighting with no result. The president is a pit bull. He's won. He's caught the car. The question is, what's he going to do with the car?
You say he caught the car. He's got these foreign nations up to the lick log, as they say on the farm.
The whole idiom, the dog that caught the car, is based on the fact dogs have no plan for what to do after they catch it.
The bootlickers on Fox and Friends try to spin them as if they are a good thing.
He is staring them down Clint Eastwood style.
No one says he's like the dog that caught the car as phase one of the dog's long-term strategy to reshore manufacturing.
Right. In order to get the maximum deal possible, knowing that China is the main focus, but he's gotten the world's attention to reconfigure trade. Everybody's paying attention now. Nobody can ignore it.
That is true. You know what else nobody can ignore? A homeless person waving a full diaper over his head.
It is your job to stop that dog, not stand back and say, I don't know, guys, let him cook.
And he said, sir, if you do this, you will upend the global economy, take the stocks and bond markets, and unite your allies against you. And I said, let me cook.
Stop pointing out all these grease fires and let the man cook.
This is a remarkable moment that has come to light all over again. Back in 1992, Donald Trump threw a football through a hole designed for one football. Is that amazing or what?
Put me down for or what?
But seriously, these are just the kind of sacrifices we need to make to get the economy back to where it was 10 days ago.
This was a test. We were just presented with our nation's version, our generation's version of the post-Pearl Harbor posters that went up that said, Uncle Sam, pointing at you, I want you for the U.S. Army. Trump wanted you to put America first and yourself second for a week, and most people couldn't do it.
You selfish monsters. I hope you're proud of you. You couldn't just let him drain your 401k to get those damn Norwegians in line? No? That's quite a metaphor. This is like post-Pearl Harbor. No, this is like if we had bombed Pearl Harbor ourselves.
Calm down. There's nothing to worry about. It's a stock market crash. It's not a trans person trying to play in the women's division of a Scrabble tournament.
But good news, the solution to gender confusion exists, is a stiff dose of international trade barriers. This is an actual Fox News chyron from this week. Trump's manly tariffs. Pundit believes it could reverse crisis in masculinity. Because men need to get out of the office and back to the factory floor.
When you sit behind a screen all day, it makes you a woman. Studies have shown this. Studies have shown this. And if you're out working, like building robots like Harold, you are around other guys. You're not around HR ladies and lawyers.
What do you
that
do?
gives you estrogen.
What do you
Let
do?
me finish, Judge.
You sit behind a screen.
Yeah. Losing money costs you nothing. This is just the reality of life. You're gonna, like, were you young and dumb? How much money did you lose? Everyone loses money. Everyone loses money. It costs you nothing.
Except money. Losing money costs you money.
I mean, if you're going to remodel your house to make it better in the end, it's going to be really annoying in the short term when your house is getting remodeled. And there's drywall dust everywhere and there's workers in your living room. The reality is that remodel has got to happen in order to make things stronger and more stable on the back end.
I feel like in some ways in the economy, this is kind of like a kitchen remodel or a bath remodel. There's a bit of a mess at the beginning, but everybody has a long-term look of where we're headed.
It's like a home remodel. I feel much better about tariffs now that you compared it to something famous for costing people way more than they ever expected.
Way to connect to people suffering economic hardship, Republicans. You know that thing where you not only own a home but have the money to remodel it? Okay, you seem angry. Let me try another analogy. Let's say that one of your boats needs a paint job. So that doesn't resonate? Okay, imagine you're hungry for dinner now, but your private chef says it won't be ready for 20 minutes.
If you're so short-sighted that going broke and dying in a ditch bothers you, there's a new Fox Business show you'll definitely want to check out.
Fox Business has a new show introducing Money Monk.
Money is just a human fiction. It does not exist. Especially your money, which does not exist.
It's the perfect show to unwind with after a shift at your fourth job.
How How will I afford my rent?
I mean, we are so lucky that America will always be a rich and powerful nation. I mean, can you imagine how awful it would be if America lost all its money and no one in the world respected us anymore? I don't really care about my 401k today.
It's 401k somewhere.
The people who spent 4 years screaming about the price of eggs are suddenly turning into Buddhist monks. Next time you turn on Fox News, Sean Hannity is going to be there with his head shaved saying, money is but a mirage and empty vessel that cannot provide meaning. You came from the dust, and to the dust you shall return. Now, let us all eat the seeds of the poison tree. Sean, no! No, Sean.
Don't get fooled by what's happening in the stock market.
Making money isn't everything. Take it from the guy hosting the show called Making Money.
I'm gonna come.
Why would you think that making money was something this guy cared about? Just because it's on the desk and the screen and the wall and the other wall? Life isn't about making, also another one on that same wall.
Thank you for your leadership and thank you for everything you're doing.
Your leadership at the border, absolutely remarkable.
I want to thank you as well for the shipbuilding.
I want to thank you for standing up to the Chinese Communist Party.
And what you're doing now, I think, is a great service to our country, but ultimately to the world.
You were overwhelmingly elected by the biggest majority. The U.S. Americans want you to be president.
Your vision is a turning point and an inflection point in American history.
Wow, what do you even say to that?
I'm gonna come.
Your Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, is sitting over there. Says he wants to watch America get bent over and railed by other countries.
We can't sell rice to Asia.
I'm not sure tariffs are the reason we can't sell rice to Asia. I think they figured rice out about 10,000 years ago. Now, if they want to add aroni, well, then let us know.
So McDonald's tried to bring in French fries. And you know what? They wouldn't let them take French fries because they said you couldn't prove the origin of the potato.
I mean, can you blame them? Have you seen McDonald's French fries? I love them. But even the greatest scientists in the world couldn't figure out where the hell they come from. I don't know the origin. I don't want to know. If you looked at a full list of ingredients of McDonald's French fries, it would look like the scroll on CNN.
They hate our beef because our beef is beautiful and theirs is weak.
Europe's beef is weak? They famously have a running from the beef event where the beef tramples people.
Weak beef was actually my stripper name. Hello, ladies.
Automated factories, but the key is who's going to build the factories, who's going to operate the factories, who's going to make them work. Great American workers. You know, we are going to replace
on other
the
networks.
armies of millions of people. Well, remember, the army of millions and millions of human beings screwing in little screws to make iPhones. That kind of thing is going to come to America. Now I got to do the screw on the thing. Those are the jobs? Mechanics, fixing robotics. That's what's coming to America.
The robots do the screwing, and we're just there to make sure the robots are lubed. And ready to screw. That is the American Renaissance. We are robot fluffers.
Should we view these as permanent?
That, you know, I think we're going to wait and see how this plays out.
Do you plan on having negotiations before that date?
I just don't know if there are going to be negotiations.
What do you expect the stock market to look like when it opens tomorrow in reaction to this?
I don't know.
Canada and Mexico notably missing on that chart. Why is that?
I'm not sure.
You know, I have a question. Do you know anything? Why are you out here doing interviews?
They drop a bowling ball on the top of your car from 20 feet up in the air, and if there's a little dent, they say, no, I'm sorry, your car doesn't qualify.
What are you talking? Are you thinking about Looney Tunes again? Is that what?
It seemed like randomly assigning crushing tariffs to other countries would make everything better in the world. Turned out that was not the case.
They drop bowling balls on cars and anvils on heads, and then they paint fake tunnels on the sides of cliffs, and You have to strap ourselves to rockets to catch them, but it doesn't work. So you walk across the cavern, and then you realize halfway through we're standing on thin air, and we hold up a little sign that says, "Uh-oh." Nobody knows where the little sign comes from, but we always have the little sign. It comes in handy, and then we fall, and there's a whistling sound. And then a boom.
Look, I have no idea what Donald Trump is doing with these tariffs. Something apparently I have in common with Donald Trump.
And I remember, Roadrunner came up to me, big Roadrunner, strong Roadrunner. 1 minute he wasn't there, and then he was there, and then tears pouring down his eyes onto his big cartoon feathers, giant feet, and he said to me, sir, meep, meep.
It's a bit of a lonely time for those Americans who saw all this malicious, incompetent, corrupt chaos coming and voted, not that again, please.
He tries to tell everyone to hang tough, but accidentally posts the words Hank Tough. Who the is Hank Tough? That sounds like the name. Hank Stuff is Donald Trump's porn star alter ego.
Trump is saying and doing so much crazy stuff right now. Kanye tweeted pictures of Hitler this morning. No one even noticed.
Hank Tough is the porn star who has one line, but before he gets to it, does a long riff on how tariffs are unfair. Oh, I don't have any money. Is there any other way I can repay you? Sorry, we're not getting ripped off any longer. We're not getting ripped off by horny housewives, and we're not getting ripped off by China. China, Europe, Madagascar, Wakanda, they're all ripping us off, and we're putting a stop to that with tariffs. Other countries don't buy our chicken, they don't buy our beef, and they don't buy our sausage, but that's going to change. All right, that reminds me of my line. Did anyone order the sausage?
Be cool. Everything's going to work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than ever before. Be cool, everybody. Be cool, like Fonzie. Be as cool as a cucumber that will soon cost $9 a piece.
That's what frat guys say to each other when the pledge stops making noise. Guys, be cool. Let's just open the suitcase and check on Connor. Maybe he wants more Jaeger.
Nobody knows more about cool than a 78-year-old golfer with words on his hat.
Be cool isn't what you say to fix the economy. It's what you say when you and your friend are trying to sneak outside food into a movie theater. It's like, you're walking weird.
Well, I mean, at least we're 2 years into the Trump presidency, right? What? It's only been 80 days. All right, don't freak out. Just be cool, everybody. Hank Tough.
That's what his press secretary said about him yesterday. He said, the president won't cave. He's got a spine of steel. Turn out the spine of steel was no match for the brain of mashed potatoes.
On Wednesday, Trump announced he was pausing most tariffs for 90 days. Now, 90 days may not seem like a long time, but remember, Trump has only been president for 82 days, and it already feels like a goddamn decade.
Well, thank goodness. Thank goodness that at 1:18 p.m. today, Donald Trump made a decision that at the last minute saved our nation from a previous decision by Donald Trump.
They were working so well that I had to stop them.
After days of historic market losses thanks to Trump's random-ass tariffs, the Dow skyrocketed nearly 3,000 points. And you know the old saying, whatever goes up must continue to go up forever.
Think about that. The best thing Trump has ever done for America was undo the incredibly dumb thing he did.
Who knew we'd reach a point where the economy feels less stable than Kanye West?
I guess they say it was the biggest day in financial history.
Because you tanked it. You set a house on fire, then you called the fire department, and now you want credit for saving the house from the fire you started. The house is still there. You're welcome. Yes, a lot of it is very black and everything's wet. But once again, I have to stress, you are welcome.
Biggest, not the same as best. That's why on Mother's Day, you don't give her a mug that says, world's biggest mom.
It's true, the stock market did a Jesus. It died, then on the third day, it was risen. And then on the fourth day, it died again, possibly never to return, just like Jesus.
Well, the Trump tariffs have caused T-bill sell-offs, which have rocked the bond markets.
Are you worried about that?
I'm not, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't know what that is.
Trump said that he paused tariffs because people were getting yippy and queasy. Then Trump tried naming the other 7 dwarves. There's yippy, queasy, greasy, gassy, Smiley, and Spock.
Okay, it's our fault. We got too scared. Sorry. I tend to get a little yippy when my retirement plan starts to look like the elevator from The Shining.
Hold on.
A little bit afraid is a massive understatement. People were freaking out about their 401ks. There were grandmas looking at their retirement plan and getting ready to open an OnlyFans to get through the next 5 years.
Tariffs on, tariffs off. It's ancient wisdom, like Mr. Miyagi, who sounds Chinese and is now tariffed at 185%.
And he does know the art of the deal.
The president did write the book, The Art of the Deal.
He's a genius in negotiating. He is very calculating in how he negotiates. He understands the art of the deal better than anyone. And he's gotten results in a very short period of time.
I mean, you're watching the art of the deal in real time here.
Yes, the art of the deal. Create a global crisis and then dig yourself halfway out. It's truly masterful, Donald.
I don't know what's more desperate there, the shameless sucking up or the needs to put the words, "we told you not to freak," at the bottom of the screen, which is funny coming from Fox News of all places, considering most of their broadcast feature messages like why you should absolutely freak about the green M&M.
I'm starting to think that the art of the deal is art in the way that Jackson Pollock is art. Like, it looks like someone just threw a bunch of shit at the wall, but now I have to pretend like it's genius and it's going to cost millions of dollars.
Chapter 9, I built a casino in Atlantic City. I'm a business genius. Whatever happened to the casino, Donald?
Textbook, art of the deal here.
Here's the thing. China was always the end game. Trump won.
Won what? Seriously, I'm asking, what did we win? If tariffs on China was the end game, why didn't he just put tariffs on China and skip the weird home game version of Family Feud he played on the White House lawn?
Trump's Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, praised his master's decision to delay the tariffs. He said it took great courage for him to stay the course until this moment. That's right. He stayed the course. It was a golf course, but he stayed it.
There's no tariff ferry that you can go to get instructions on how to do this.
Look, I'm a very flexible person. I don't change my mind, but I'm flexible. And you have to be. You just can't have a wall and you'll only go. No, sometimes you have to go around it, under it, or above it.
The Tariff Fairy.
Tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
Very painful.